The power of 3 will set us free. Over 20 years later, Charmed still remains one of my favourite shows of all time. This 8-season magical drama followed the lives of the Halliwell sisters, Prue, Piper, Phoebe, and later Paige, who happened to be witches. And they were also the most powerful witches in history, the Charmed ones. But they were sisters first. So let's take a journey to San Francisco and have a look at my top 10 favourite episodes of Charmed. Number 10, Pardon My Past. People always say your past will come back to haunt you, and this episode takes that literally. After Phoebe is assaulted by invisible forces, Leo and the sisters deduce that her past life might be trying to warn her. She casts a spell on herself to discover the truth and ends up in the 1920s. When there, she learns she was an evil witch vanquished by her 2 cousins. Pardon My Past is always such a joy to watch. It is a wonderful Elseworlds kind of story that shows a different side to the Halliwell's history. The 1920s aesthetic is gorgeous, unsurprisingly, and few actresses play evil and sexy as well as Alyssa Milano. I also love the concept that people's souls tend to travel together throughout time, which explains why the sisters, Leo and Dan, all look the same back in the 1920s as they do in the present day. The stakes are high in this episode, making it not just fun, but intense as well. Number 9, Something Wicker This Way Goes. This roller coaster ride could have easily served as the final episode of the entire show, and in fact, it almost was. It gives the sisters a near perfect ending, one that they deserved after all of their sacrifices made for the greater good. But thankfully, Charmed lived to fight for one more season. One of their most formidable foes yet, the powerful demon Zanku, has taken control of the manor, the Book of Shadows, and 2 of the sisters' powers. In a harrowing turn, the sisters decide to go down fighting and prepare for the end. It's hard not to get emotional watching the women say goodbye to their loved ones, convincing the audience of their approaching demise. But what a relief it was to see that the sisters not only defeated Zanku, but they faked their own deaths in the process in order to lead lives finally free of magic. This season 7 finale is definitely one of their best. Number 8, Centennial Charmed. The series celebrated 100 episodes in incredible style. Centennial Charmed remains a pivotal turning point for not just the show, but for Phoebe as well. Her former love, Cole, makes one last desperate attempt to win her back. He uses his newly gained avatar powers to change history, making it so Piper and Phoebe never met Paige. This creates a fun yet dark and hopeless reality that only Paige can restore and stop Cole once and for all. I love the alternate reality aspect so much. It's always refreshing to see different versions of the same characters. I especially love Badass Piper, and Holly Marie Combs pulls it off nicely. But of course, the big moment of this episode is when the Charmed ones finally vanquish Cole for good, and this resets everything back to normal. Happy 100th birthday, Cole! Number 7, Chick Flick. Haven't we all dreamed of meeting our favorite characters in real life? I know I have. This dream comes true for Phoebe in Chick Flick, after an attack by the Demon of Illusion lets characters step off the silver screen. His love for inciting people to violence affects not only theatregoers, but the Halliwell sisters themselves. He sends horror movie villains into the real world to kill the Charmed ones. It's such a clever idea and executed brilliantly. The tone of the show changes to a more sinister one, yet there is a little bit of comedy thrown in. Particularly with Piper commenting on the fact that she chose to hide from the killers in the shower of all places. However, my favourite thing about this episode is Phoebe's dalliance with the hero of her favourite movie, Billy. Their chemistry is off the charts and will give you butterflies for days. Number 6, Deja Vu all over again. The season 1 finale really stepped it up a notch. Being a series regular sadly does not protect you from the fatal blow of the writer's room. Inspector Rodriguez, actually an undercover demon, is aided by the Source and the demon Tempest to defeat the Charmed ones for good. The catch of this finale is that Tempest has the power to turn back time. So when the sisters thwart Rodriguez, the day is reset and he tries again. Thankfully, Phoebe's premonition powers help to save the day, But despite the Halliwells' victory, it had to be at the cost of Prue's love, Andy. It's always heartbreaking to watch Prue grieve for her lost love, the chance of them being together taken away so suddenly. Charmed wrapped up its debut season fantastically thanks to this classic episode. Number 5, Dead Man Dating. Speaking of season 1, this is the 4th episode of the entire show, and I have always loved it. Dead Man Dating features guest star John Cho in one of his early roles as Mark, a ghost the sisters must save. Cho is hands down the best thing in this episode. He is charming to a fault, endearing, and just wonderful to watch. Sadly continuing Piper's bad track record with romance, she and Mark develop feelings for each other. As a result, and due to Combs and Cho's outstanding chemistry, we get one of the most romantic yet heartbreaking scenes in the entire show's history, as the two of them are so close yet unable to touch. The episode is also an excellent nod to San Francisco's beautiful Chinese culture and Chinese mythology in general. Mark's farewell at the end of the episode is bittersweet, yet Piper was indeed better for having known him. Number 4, Forever Charmed. As good of an ending Something Wicker This Way Goes would have been for Charmed, I much prefer this ending to the series, the powerful and sentimental Forever Charmed. Piper remains the only sister left following the ultimate battle against the Jenkins sisters, Billy and Christy. With the help of Leo and Coop's ring, she travels back in time to prevent the loss of Phoebe and Paige. Fans were given a real treat, as for the first time ever, with the exception of Prue, the entire Halliwell family shared the screen together. From the long deceased Patty and Grams to the adult Wyatt and Chris from the future, it was a lovely way to say farewell to the cast. And to say goodbye to the Halliwells, with flash forwards at the end of the episode showing us the sisters happily ever after. A magical ending for a magical series. Number 3, All Hell Breaks Loose. To say all hell broke loose might be an understatement. The season 3 finale was directed by Shannon Doherty, and it was her last ever appearance as Prue. Whilst trying to protect an innocent from the Source's assassin Shax, a news camera catches Prue and Piper using their magic to vanquish him. This episode perfectly captured the chaos of that event and the mania that overtakes humans when they are confronted with something that they fear because they don't understand it. The hysteria results in the death of Piper, shot by a lunatic. The reaction from Prue, and especially Leo, always breaks my heart. Brian Krause is the heart of this show, and the way that he portrays Leo's love for Piper is everything. Sadly, saving Piper results in losing Prue, which we learn at the start of season 4. Not only is this one of my favorite episodes, it is also one of the best in the entire show. Number 2, Awakened. The real world and the magical one collide in this tense episode. Piper contracts the deadly disease Arroyo fever after illegally importing fruit from South America to her club, P3. The illness strikes her down so badly she's left in a coma. With no regards for the personal gain of it all, Prue and Phoebe use their magic to save Piper, which results in an outbreak of the affliction in the entire hospital. I find it quite poetic when something non-magical happens to someone magical in a show like this. It reminds you that these women are human first, and despite their abilities, these things can still happen to them. Piper makes the choice to sacrifice herself to save the sick, but thankfully is saved by Leo before she can cross over. Awakened is a heart-wrenching episode that taught the Halliwells some harsh lessons. Honorable mentions. Here are 5 more witching episodes I really couldn't leave out. Long Live the Queen. I really do love me some evil Phoebe. Coyote Piper. It's Piper like you've never seen her before, mostly because she was possessed. Bride and Gloom.
I want pigs in black.
Be careful what you witch for. French Stewart cameos as a mischievous yet lovable genie, and I am here for it. All Halliwell's Eve.
Okay, I think I have an idea of what might really scare them.
What are you gonna do?
I'm going to embrace the cliche.
And my number one favorite episode of Charmed is Morality Bites. The smallest actions sometimes have the biggest consequences. The Halliwell sisters decide to use magic to get some cheeky revenge on a man. This one small act planted a seed that led to Phoebe being burnt at the stake for using her magic to get revenge on a murderer. When Phoebe sees her fate in a premonition, the sisters travel forward in time to prevent her execution. The only hitch is that the sisters enter their future selves' bodies, which means the Phoebe that we know is going to be executed, and only Prue and Piper can stop it. Morality Bites is an excellent Elseworlds episode that I absolutely adore. It's hilarious as it is heartbreaking to see these possible futures of the Charmed ones. But why did they have to make Prue blonde? Regardless, the lesson at the heart of this episode is an important one. Vengeance only leads to darkness because, as it turns out, the DA relentlessly persecuting Phoebe was the same man the sisters punished at the start of the episode. Such a good twist. Morality Bites is also beautifully written and acted, and therefore will always be my favorite episode of Charmed. There they are, witch lovers. Those are my top 10 favorite episodes of Charmed. Let me know what yours are by commenting below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Fred the Alien for more videos just like this one. You can also find me on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as one of the hosts of a podcast called Fred and the monthly at Winifred's. I've been a Kendall Richardson, and you've just experienced Collectible Chaos.